Good day, and welcome back to another World of Warcraft video. In this video, we are going to be taking a look at mining, and I'm going to spend an hour mining so that you don't really have to. So basically, to cut a long story short, my mining at this point was 100 in the skill system. In terms of my mining knowledge, I was also pretty well geared up in terms of knowledge. In terms of gear, nothing too crazy, just some green max level gear. Then, in terms of actual knowledge, I spent the majority of my points in mastering the elements, which is pretty good because it allows you to get the rousing orders, the fire orders, the rousing fire, rousing frost, etc. And then I also had in the mining process, which allows us to extract more ore than usual. So basically, just a pretty simple, pretty straightforward process. Nothing really in metallurgy, and I left it at that. Now, the farming process was pretty straightforward. I did half an hour in the overworld of the Dragon Isles, and then I did half an hour in the Zaralek Caverns. I split them up over 2 days, just due to time availability, and I used the Elemental Overload skill that I have at 2 points as well. So it's pretty simple from there. Because the Zaralek Caverns have some little bit more issues in terms of node spawns, with not having obviously nearly as many as the overworld, and with them running dry a little bit, I did split the Zaralek Caverns into a process of 2 15-minute slots that were a couple hours apart, just to give some time for node respawning and just basically refreshing the area a little bit. I didn't use any node guides or any node maps or anything like that, or any add-ons to hunt down nodes or certain nodes. I just wanted to see a natural kind of mining guide, or natural earnings from just mining as a normal player would, just finding nodes as I went along and obviously mining from them. In terms of anything else, I really only kind of made sure that if I was farming nodes, for example, starting here in the Azure Plains, that I kept some kind of decent pathing. I think I went to Azure Plains, then I went up through the top, then back down through Veldraken, and then through down into the final area. So I think, I kept a decent pathing, although I will say, obviously, you could definitely do the mining process far more efficiently than I did. So, if you want, you can probably add on a couple bits of ore from, what you could expect to get if you really went efficiently. In terms of equipment, obviously, you can definitely have better equipment as well, which could also net you some more earnings. But the main things that you're searching for are rousing earth, rousing flame, rousing order, rousing frost. You're kind of searching for all of these because, honestly speaking, the actual ore that you get does not give you a huge amount of earnings comparative to other processes. Casgarite ore still kind of sells for a little bit. The Zaralek spores still sell for a little bit. Unlimited diamonds sell for a little bit, and I managed to get myself 2 of those. However, only the gold unlimited diamonds actually sell for any decent earnings, which is a bit of a shame. The Zaralek Caverns definitely felt more profitable from a ore perspective than the Dragon Isles overworld. At least from my perspective, it was definitely a lot easier to farm things and a lot easier to get some decent earnings and things like that from the Zaralek Caverns. In terms of the actual knowledge that I gained a fair chunk of knowledge. I would say I gained around 16 or so knowledge from the process, which was pretty good in general. If we take a look at my overall earnings that I got, it was pretty decent. You can see on the screen now. Quite a few rousing earth, quite a few rousing flame, obviously substantially more than the other ones. Because of my elemental mastery and my elemental overload though, we did manage to grab a fair chunk of other rousing, which I think is where the money lies. Zarelek glow spores, also decent money, and then the next best is probably the Kazgarite ore, and then the rest is a couple gold here or there. It adds up, but it's not anything too crazy. With the limited diamonds also being a decent chunk of gold, at least the gold quality limited diamond is a decent chunk of gold. So obviously we then went and I just sold it all. I didn't really look at pricing or try to best buy pricing. And in total we are looking at a very solid 6.5k. Which, honestly speaking, is not too bad. It didn't take long to sell as well. 6.5k is probably decent earnings. You could definitely maximize that a bit more, especially if you invest some more in your elemental mastery tree of your mining, and if, of course, you also get some better mining gear. You can definitely then probably look at having, I would say earnings in the up to regions of 7 or 8k. If you were to go to the Zarelek caverns and probably predominantly farm there, just in smaller slots over more days or over a couple hours, you would probably also increase your earnings, as I just felt like the loot from there was way more varied and better overall. But yeah, that basically covers it. I mean, you can already see that most of them are selling already. The jewels probably sold last, but yeah, it was pretty decent earnings. I would say overall, it's definitely an exercise that's worth your time. If you're looking for a bit of cash, it's not the fastest cash mechanism, but 7k an hour, pretty decent.